Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Wrestle Rewind. Tonight is Thursday, October 25th, I believe, 24th? 24th?
You know what? We'll call it 24.
It's 24th.
We're not in September.
I said October.
I know, I'm just saying. Last week you said we were in September.
I did.
You said that, I was like, did he say September?
No, I said October. October 24th, 2019. We are missing a man down, so to speak.
We are a man down.
Yeah, a man down. She is not with us tonight. She is actually out pursuing her dream. Yeah. And we support her 100% as she attempts to do that.
I wonder if she's going to get chokeslammed straight to hell.
She might. She might. I mean, I guess it's a real possibility.
I mean, she is.
That's where she is.
She's training with Kane and Tom Pritchard right now.
So, yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't have to pick her up very far.
And that... Actually, they'd have to pick her up really far.
I mean, I was going to say, it would be actually further in proximity.
Yes. However, speaking of which, she's out there with Kane. I am actively trying to take an episode in our December program off-site instead of being here in the studio. We are going to attempt to tape a Wrestle Rewind episode off-site. It will not be in our home city here of Richmond. It's likely to be in Norfolk.
Field trip.
It is a field trip.
Those
but
are always fun with this group.
That's true. The effort right now is to hopefully...
Field trip, Nico. We had a big one last April, New York, New Jersey.
What day in December?
So
he didn't say a day.
I did not set a day yet. I can just tell you that it's probably an episode that we will tape. Potentially, I don't know for sure yet. I've got to work out the details, but right now we are actively working on having a special guest on our December show.
More special than we already are.
More special. Two separate guests, actually, one of which happens to be a WWE Hall of Famer. The other one is an owner of a wrestling school and still an active participant on the indie scene, and that is none other than the former leader of the Brood,
I knew where,
Gangrel.
I think I know where you're going with the other one, too.
I'm not spoiling that one yet, though, because I want that one to be confirmed before
I know I do know, right?
You do.
Do I send
Yes.
You? Okay.
Yes. So
got it.
We're actively working on that, but that would be a huge step for us, so that's something that I want.
Think?
Yes.
Either way is a huge step.
I agree.
But if both happen,
yeah. So
I hope he spits blood in your face.
This
Take it.
we're working on that. That's
wear it with pride, buddy.
actively working there to see if we can get at least one, if not both, of those guys on the show.
Oh wow.
One of which would be, I would get goosebumps just being able to sit down and have a conversation with him. Either are both going to be really cool if we can get the chance to do that. So I am actively working on that. We'll see. Yes. So we're going to see where that goes. I should know within a couple of within the next week or so. Because we've built some contacts throughout doing these podcasts that I know some folks who know some folks.
Just a couple.
Who can get me the information that I need. And I have reached out to both. One has responded. One has yet to respond, so we'll see.
No?
Yes.
Okay.
The other one has already responded with basically a win-where, and this is how much. So that'll be entertaining, but we'll go ahead and move on into today's episode. Unlike last week's wildcard episode, tonight's going to be a little bit more formal of the normal routine for us.
It was wild.
It was. We didn't get a whole lot accomplished, though, actually, going back and listening to the show.
No, we didn't really do anything.
We didn't get a whole lot accomplished.
Just
but
like our normal group conversation.
It was. So today in wrestling history, two birthdays. Rosa Mendez, which I'm not sure why that showed up in wrestling history. I guess just because of her involvement with WWE, that's how she gets on the list. But... another one who I thought was an incredible performer back in his day, Perry Saturn. Happy birthday to both of those folks.
He was, man. He was
incredible.
Just underutilized.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a ton of skill. Yeah. So whether it was WWE or WCW, both those guys.
You remember when he was with the Flock? I'm sorry.
Raven's Flock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was... He was like the enforcer of that group.
Yeah, and he did it well.
Yeah, no, he definitely did.
So, first on the list, WWE. We are going to do this a little bit differently moving forward. I want to talk real quickly about next week's show because we'll recap this at the end of the night as well. However, next week's show, folks, just go ahead and understand that as if you're a parent, I'm sure you know that next Thursday is Halloween. And I can say in the group here that myself and Double K both have obligations that,
You do?
supersede having to be here for this show. So
that was fast.
we're going to. That's nothing fast. It's
Did you say bad?
That's what he said. So
You were
easy. Don't take out everything behind you,
Well,
Nico.
You almost got smacked by Ron Simmons right behind you.
So as well as Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett was about to give you both his J's. So
I don't know what that means. Like the compass,
I don't think you want either one of them.
no, probably not.
Neither Jay.
Wearing that
You don't want
outfit
either.
that he came out in the Royal Rumble in too. So the
All right, we'll see.
that's
6.5 in, and here we are.
don't ever say that again. Ever. Ever say that again. So, anyways, next week's episode will actually air on Wednesday night instead of Thursday night. Myself and Double K will be elsewhere on Thursday night. Smokey Z will be at the local Chuck E. Cheese, hanging out outside the ball pit. So make sure to bring.
Why you gotta say it like that? Sound like a creep.
Why would you rather hang out inside the ball pit? Would you rather be outside the ball pit, or would you rather be inside the ball pit, man? I'm gonna need you to make up your mind.
So
Did sound a little creepy.
it did. It sounded
because there's only a 9-year difference, but you look way older than me.
Saw that coming.
using the microphone here to cover that. So,
Well played, sir.
anyways,
Can't help that you look 80.
I don't look 80. Maybe 45, but not 80.
He moves 80.
That's. Anyways, let's.
Get my back.
Let's look. I can still do a kip up. So
Katie, get my back.
really, really. So,
I had to get it out.
anyways,
Perm.
I have no problem announcing to folks that starting next week, we are going to align our shows based off of who holds the highest ratings for the week.
I like that.
That show will get our first priority conversation of the night. So for this week, it is WWE. However, we're going to look specifically, we'll look at an average of WWE viewers compared to an average of AEW viewers. WWE is probably still going to take the cake most of the time, but we're going to talk about their business model a little bit later on. Starting with WWE tonight, of course, the news that shocked the world last night. I don't think anybody saw it coming. However, once again, it was in a moment where WWE proved that they still got it in them
Yeah.
to surprise folks every now and then, and that was the unexpected heel turn of Finn Balor.
I loved it.
So, just the way that they did it was spectacular, and I've never seen a heel turn start off with somebody delivering a Pele kick.
No, and it was quick, too.
And solid.
He kicked the shit out of Johnny Gargano. I mean, he did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Johnny didn't have to sell very much. I mean, he got kicked somewhere right in here, forcefully.
Yeah.
And I think that may be part of the reason why Finn waited
So
a minute or two to
Nico,
kind of get
can
out of
you
the
do-
ring with him.
Can you do me a favor and see if you can find that clip? I know there was a GIF of it on Twitter at some point in time earlier today. What did I say?
GIF.
What did I say?
Jif.
Oh, GIF. Sorry.
It's not peanut butter.
There's a graphics card on my computer to find it. Like you want a GIF or a video? Because you do video.
Right, I understand that. So if you can find the Twitter feed that was out there earlier today, that would probably be easier. And folks, just so that everybody understands, we have to be very cautious with what we portray. WWE has gotten after us twice for posting their product. However, I'm happy to say that we won both cases, at which point they reposted the video because we claimed fair use under it was done in a news fashion, and it was already publicly available without us having to tape it ourselves. So,
I mean, that part was pretty ferocious right there.
yeah, so this is the second part of the heel turn, but we'll go ahead and can the viewers see this right now? Yes. So what you're seeing there was the second part. This actually led to, which was not captured on NXT TV, it was available on WWE.com. Later, a stretcher came out, picked up Johnny, and took him to the back. You know, I want to go on the record right now of saying that Johnny Gargano is probably the most talented in-ring performer that NXT has ever seen. If you look at what his ability to sell, his ability to deliver, and his matches with Tommaso Ciampa, and even his matches with Adam Cole, you know, we've done this in our group when we've played 2K19, where we talked about, we gave him a nickname, and that nickname was he was Johnny 5-Star Gargano. Yeah. Because he never had anything less than a 5-star match on the video game. Here's the beginning of it. Straight down. That one more right there.
Right there.
What sound?
Sure. So he got all that kick.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You went Irish there for a second. Was that in honor of
Oh yeah, a bunch of no.
That
was a mixture.
That was not Irish. I'm not sure what that was. Had a little Minnesota.
Yeah, a little bit. However, you know,
can you rewind it and play it over now that we got the sound all the way up?
Think about that. I can't do that.
Okay.
So that's fine. But the way they did this whole thing with, you know, Finn Balor becoming part of the Undisputed Era, there is now conversation of, so how many people does that put now in Undisputed Era? Somebody do the math.
That's a 5.
Right, it's 5 people. So how many people are in DIY? There's just 2. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Did anybody see who openly commented about that specific NXT moment this morning?
I did not.
The OC.
Oh.
So there is conversation of, do we get the OC and DIY versus the Undisputed Era at Survivor Series?
I mean, if it's just at Survivor Series, I'm on board.
Right.
If it's only there, sure.
That's their only co-branded event.
Right.
So there is conversation now that NXT matches are going to be folded into the Big Four.
And I think it should be.
So they will probably see some NXT matches taking place on the Big Four pay-per-views. That would be Survivor Series, the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania.
Well, and I think that will only serve to enhance those pay-per-views.
Sure.
I mean, it's only going to make them
those guys outperform the main roster still on a regular basis.
So, you know, if you've got 15 matches, if every third or fourth match is an NXT match, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, I agree. So, for me, I think that was the most exciting moment in WWE television that we've seen in quite some time.
Absolutely.
And they did it well. It was unexpected. They didn't get leaked. There was no spoiler that came out for it beforehand, which, again, I think just goes to confirm that they still got it in them to perform and do something special.
Well, it's like I was telling you guys before we went on the air. I got home late, and so I turned on AEW first. And, you know, I watched the first match, watched a couple matches, and I'm scrolling through social media, and I saw something about Balor's heel turn. So that in itself caused me to turn off AEW and turn on NXT, and I ended up watching all of NXT just to see the heel turn.
So there was something
and it was worth it.
That Bully Ray said about this actually today, and what he said was, to him, what he saw last night was WWE finally taking AEW seriously.
Yeah.
That you had to pull, you know, essentially your trump card to be able to say, all right, what can we do to steal viewers from AEW?
Right.
So we've got to do something that's not expected and something that's different. So, and I think they succeeded. It's been the talk of the wrestling world today.
Well, I mean, to me, I said it last week, and I know we all have talked about it just amongst ourselves a lot. I still think, and I believe, and prove me wrong if you think otherwise, the match quality in NXT is better than the match quality in AEW. The actual match quality is better in NXT.
So I agree with you, but I think, and I'm going to bring this, I'm going to scale it.
Scale it?
Scale it.
We're going to scale it. Hey, Smokey's going to say, Nico, we're scaling.
Scaling.
That's what she said.
No, that was peeling.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either, it just came out.
Also what she said.
Woo! Anyways,
Still PG-13.
scale it. Scale it. So
I just go.
And that's what she said. If you think about this in concept to the new promotion that's going to be starting in Richmond on November 9th, there is a...
We did scale it.
So there's... Oh, it's not shameless. It's just a straight-up plug.
Just it's not, here we go.
Not, God, this is not getting any better as we talk about this. So,
good Lord.
anyways, you think about what we're trying to do with United Elite Wrestling.
Come on, man. Look, if anybody gets it right, you got to get it right.
Well, no, I did that because I wanted to clarify because I don't want there to be any confusion.
Right.
So with what you and I are trying to do with United Elite Wrestling is we let the guys in the ring tell the story. And I think what you're getting right now between NXT and AEW is exactly that.
Right.
NXT is the guys that are basically, they know what the story needs to look like, and they're being told to go out there and do it. I think AEW is still trying to, so if you notice, like their tag team matches in with specific reference, are mostly spots. That's mostly what they are. They're spot matches. And so I still think that there's still a little bit to be desired there on their end because we're not seeing the art of the performance being portrayed.
Right.
So I think that's why you're still getting better shows out of NXT. Those guys also, NXT, to their credit, and I don't know that anybody else is going to, has taken the time to acknowledge that, but we talked about a lot of concerns about what NXT was going to look like when it went to live shows. 2-hour broadcast. It was very different than the 1-hour show that they were used to producing that was pre-taped.
Right.
We talked about the concern that we had for that. I have no problem saying right now that WWE literally took the exact same product that they were producing on the WWE network and just moved it to 2 hours.
Yeah.
They're still not overflowing the talent into the ring. They're still not rushing the moments. They're still not.
It's the exact same
It's
product.
just more of it.
It is. It's the exact same.
And so
And you're not getting an hour of promos.
no, and
it's all about the wrestling.
yeah, and so that's what still makes NXT different from WWE's Raw and SmackDown. But if you look at, AEW, I still think we're getting very much a mainstream product that is still in line.
You good?
Yeah, I'm
over
good.
there? You sure?
It's been a long day. I'm working really hard. So,
Don't you lie.
You see this spreadsheet?
Don't you lie.
it's. I was actually up rather late last night.
Stop.
Because I was dealing back. I was talking to you.
Were you?
Yeah, because what was I working on until almost 10:30 last night? What went out in an email?
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, that's true. You did send that.
So
out.
I was sending stuff back and forth.
I didn't realize it was that late.
Yeah, it was late.
Yeah.
So just.
Well, I mean, 10:30.
That,
80.
True. Yeah.
See?
I hate all three of you.
Thank you, Nico.
Well, Ashley isn't here. I will talk all day.
You kind of talked yourself into that.
So, anyways,
Suck it.
having to deal with some of that as I'm trying to line up legalities.
Yeah.
To protect our institution. But No, I still think that they're doing a very good job on AEW. I still will tell you that I am a firm believer that the AEW is still producing the best product on TV right now. And they did it again this week. They've got botches, but I can go through Raw, SmackDown, and find the same thing.
Not as severe, though. I don't think you can.
I can find them. I think WWE does a better job of concealing them.
But it's in every match. It seems to be. It's really not in every match.
No, I would say
but
definitely.
It seems like it's
the women's matches,
and when they're screwing things up,
it's bad.
It's really bad, and it's at the worst possible second.
So I agree. However, the only thing that I think back to is I have not seen anything in AEW yet that touches the Jinder Mahal, Jeff Hardy, Whisper in the Wind, or Goldberg Taker Crown Jewel.
Well, I mean, hold on one second. Let's one, you had to go back a little bit to dig for Jinder Mahal and Jeff Hardy.
A year and a half.
That's further than this week.
Yes.
Right.
But nothing still as bad as that.
But it's every week. You may be right about nothing as bad as that. Goldberg did knock himself out.
No, I'm not saying there's not reasons for it.
No, but my point is that it's every week.
It's not like once in
like
a
when
while.
WWE does have one, yeah, it's big and yeah, we blow it up and we talk about it.
But you know what is different about AEW to WWE? When you go back and watch the replays of AEW, guess what they don't do?
Edit.
They don't edit it out.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's a live performance, and they want you. If the guys screw up, we're in an era where kayfabe is dead.
I'm not trying to beat the
product
because I like the show. I do like the show. I like the show way better than originally I thought I might.
I think the performers just need to take a pause every now and then and realize that you don't get to do this over.
Right. Well,
I've noticed a lot of it's because they're trying to move so fast.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like,
except for Private Party in that match last night. Dear God.
In their defense, they got blown up about 3/4 of the way through the match. You could tell.
Yeah. Well, they moved like they got blown up. It was probably quicker than 3/4 of the way through the match. About halfway, they started moving. And did you see the match?
I did not see the ending.
I know you didn't because you were watching the World Series.
I did not see the ending
Just
of it.
watch the whole just go to maybe the halfway point. They were moving so slow. Where the moves that they were performing and the spots that they were performing should have been gotten to quicker. See, here we go. Like, it was just slow. It wasn't necessarily bad, but it was slow.
I'm going to find a halfway point because it's 8 minutes long.
I'm all for slowing it down. I agree. Excuse me. I think they do need to slow down. Most of these guys are trying to go way too fast a lot of times, but like these guys get to some of these moves. Yeah, like these guys got there way too slow. One of the coolest spots about this match though was I can't remember which one of the Lucha Brothers did it, but one of the Private Party were hanging over the second rope. Right in the middle. He ran across the top rope to kick him in the face.
Yep.
Like, started at the turnbuckle and ran across the top rope and kicked him in the face. But see, they slowed the match down too much.
Yeah, you can tell they gassed.
They slowed it down too much in order to just perform a move that should be going at a higher rate of speed. They're exhausted right now.
Well, and so some of this too, like I think that we as fans, again, I think set up a lot of ourselves for disappointment. So like right there when he hit that stunner maneuver and just held the guy there and the guy stood there. Well, let's be real, we've never seen that before. And so we know what we expect to see when somebody hits that move. And the moment that we don't see what we expect to see, it causes us to go, well, what went wrong?
Well, no, I mean,
I'm not saying I'm not crapping on the moment.
No, I mean, it was good. Like, the idea was good.
Yeah.
But if you're not gassed, you get to the kick quicker.
I agree.
A lot faster.
I agree.
And there were a couple moments, and we saw a couple here, where Private Party was moving so slow, they're standing there literally staring at the Lucha Brothers like, what are we doing? It's not that they didn't know what to do. I just felt like a match like that, if you're going to do that match, if you're going to be in that match with the Lucha Brothers, you better be able to keep up. And they couldn't keep up.
No,
like Nico said, they got blown up, half to 3/4 of the way through the match and just were exhausted. They couldn't keep up.
No, but I think AEW is going to continue to try to find that line.
Sure.
I don't. It's hard to believe that is just their 4th episode.
Yeah.
So
it's like they're trying to fit too much in one match.
Well, I don't think it's that. I think it's so. I think
that particular match, I 100% agree.
I think the real problem here for AEW, and not even a problem, but I think it's the challenge they face, is they take the WWE threat seriously. WWE has not always done the same in return.
Right. So
AEW is doing everything they can to try to throw everything into one show because they know what's at stake. Because if they're not producing ratings on a regular basis, then TNT is going to have a hard time justifying continuing to put them up against NXT. So they have to find that line. And so, they are going to take risks and chances and do more and try to cram more in because it's the business side of it, of you have to be able to compete. Do you think for 1 second that Time Warner is going to be okay with losing in a ratings war to essentially USA, which is also it's the same company that owns a partnership with Fox because of WWE's involvement with Fox, but there's still so much there that I just think it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out, long term.
No, I agree, and I'm gonna go back to NXT really quick.
Yeah.
Just the way the show started, that started with Lucha Brothers and Private Party. And the match, it was not lackluster. I've said what I thought about it. But go back to NXT, the way that show started, you had Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley.
Yep.
That match was phenomenal. That match was great. Then we had Matt Riddle and Cameron Grimes. That match, phenomenal.
Almost anything Matt Riddle touches in the ring is gold.
I can't say... And again, like I said, I switched over to NXT from AEW last night. I didn't see all of AEW last night because of that. I can't say anything that I saw on AEW was phenomenal. I can say that those matches were phenomenal. Keith Lee, Dijakovic,
who's an incredible specimen.
And
Keith Lee is.
yeah, I mean for the lost my place.
Yeah,
the Keith Lee match was phenomenal. I mean, everything about NXT last night that I saw was great.
Well, and I think we're going to continue to see some of this back and forth each week. So I think what you're probably going to see is until AEW gets this figured out, because they've still got a lot of things to figure out, because they're still learning who they are as a company. But I think what you're going to find each week is, so NXT had the better show this week, I believe.
Ratings wouldn't tell you that, but they did.
However, I would say that, guess what's probably going to happen next week? AEW is probably going to have the better show next week.
Because they're going to answer back.
Yep, and it's going to change the week after, and it's going to become NXT again. And so this is going to continue to go down until AEW finds their ground, and then what's going to happen is that's when you're going to get your real Wednesday Night War.
I agree.
When you're going to be looking at, all right, which one of you is going to have the better show tonight? Because right now, it's pretty much going to be it's a back and forth every other week. So it's NXT answers, and then it's
now you went back for that.
Is WWE going to have a solution?
And I was going to say something kind of to that point earlier. I do believe WWE is going to have a solution because just like with Finn Balor last night, they were able to keep that thing under wraps, and then all of a sudden, heel turn, right?
Potentially.
I believe that WWE is going to lay back because I feel like they know that, oh my God. I feel like they know at any time they can just reach into a bag and pull anybody out and do that.
I think that's true, but eventually it becomes harder. Like last night was what you saw that was for me, that NXT moment was as good as the moment as Tommaso Ciampa turning on Johnny Gargano.
Okay, yeah.
Those two were equal in surprise.
Well, because, I mean, Finn Balor's been nothing but a babyface for how long now?
His entire time in the company.
Right, so...
The last time he was a heel was in New Japan.
Yeah. I think he's a great heel.
So, you know, these two guys, Keith Lee and Matt Riddle, mark my words, are the future of NXT and WWE.
I'm gonna tell you right now,
has some insane strength.
I'm a massive fan of both these guys. I don't care what show it is. If these guys are on it, I'm watching.
Yeah,
I don't care where it is.
They're incredible. Both of them are.
Look at this.
You know, it's
He did that to Dijakovic last night, and he picked him way up and just threw him.
So you know who used to do that, right? That exact same move that Keith Lee does there. Guess who else used to do it?
I've seen Bobby Lashley do it.
Bobby Lashley's
Is that
done
who
it.
you're thinking?
Nope.
No.
Goldberg used to do it
Oh,
on
yeah.
WCW
Look
all
at
the time. So I mean, just this is a war that will happen eventually on NXT.
God, I hope so, and I hope there's one of the titles involved with it.
It's going to be.
This match doesn't need a title involved with it,
No.
but if there was a title involved with it, it would just make it that much better.
Yeah, it's those two guys are the future of the business.
How old is Keith Lee?
Mid-30s, I believe. Nico, can you fact check that for us?
I mean, Riddle's what, early 30s?
I think he's late 20s,
Late 20s,
actually.
early 30s. That's amazing. I mean, that's awesome.
Keith Lee is
That's your favorite movie?
34.
34. Keith Lee's 34.
Okay.
So, anyways, Raw, SmackDown this week, nothing special. We will wait to see, I guess, what's going to be the debut of the new Firefly Funhouse on SmackDown tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I'm still very curious as to where they're going to go with this whole Cain Velasquez thing, because with those guys still showing up on both shows, I get what they're trying to do. The full draft doesn't take effect until November because they're trying to get through Crown Jewel first before that goes into effect. So, we've got Raw and SmackDown this week. I still feel like both of these shows are very much placeholder shows where they're just trying to keep the storylines driving for Crown Jewel until they get through it.
Yeah.
And then I think once the draft goes into effect in November is when we get a whole new WWE. I really believe that's what we're going to see. Because none of us know what those storylines look like yet.
Well, no, because they're not really creating anything.
No, they're literally just turning the wheel every week.
And it's messy.
It is.
It's messy.
But they don't really have another choice right now.
I mean, the only real storyline that's going right now, and I'd hate it, is
the Lashley
Lana Rusev.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but I think we'll see where.
But it's the only one we got. Right?
That's true.
Other than Lesnar, Velasquez, and
In my opinion, that's a storyline that's already drug out way too long.
Well, in the video packages, what they're doing with the Velasquez Lesnar story is actually turning out to be pretty entertaining.
Yeah, no, I'm
the way that they're tying it all together, and I really don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. At first, I thought this was an easy Lesnar wins Velasquez. This is his revenge on Velasquez. I don't know that I'm 100% sold on that now.
When Velasquez came out the other night,
because he's got a 4-fight deal.
Yeah, well, he's got a multi-year deal.
Well, that's true. Because the original one was 4 fights.
No, originally it was
now
4
it's
fights.
3
Now
years.
it's multi-year.
It's 3 years, $18 million.
Poor baby. But I was watching him in the ring with Shelton Benjamin the other night, kind of throwing him around, just straight up wrestling holds. And then when he got on top of him and kind of started throwing some punches, I was like, ooh. It's almost like he's I don't know.
Kind of afraid.
It looked like he was afraid to actually make the punch look believable. And
I mean, he's used to really actually.
Well, I know
people.
that, and that's what I'm saying.
But if you go back and watch his interaction with Lesnar, he didn't look afraid to hit Lesnar.
Well, would you be afraid to hit Lesnar?
No.
Or afraid to hit Shelton Benjamin?
Well, out of the two, Shelton for sure.
Like, I'd go ahead and...
Because let's be real. However, what I would say about Cain Velasquez is if you go back and watch his in-ring ability at AAA, what you'll find is that he probably has a better chance of going in and putting on a great match against Shelton Benjamin than he does Brock Lesnar.
Elaborate, please.
So, I mean, very easily. So think about the fact that how many guys can we say in WWE right now that can do a standing Hurricane Rana? How many guys?
Well, I mean, not many.
He can.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doubting his athletic ability.
No, I'm not saying you are. I agree with you. I think that you can tell.
Doubting the
And I don't.
of that by Brock Lesnar.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for
but,
sure.
and I don't know that doubting it is the right word, but he was definitely hesitant to throw punches with any sort of
He was
steam or
holding
speed.
back with something. I don't know what it was, but you could tell he was holding
It
back.
was his punch. He was. I mean,
No,
he
no.
wasn't.
I mean, in the entire interaction,
Yeah.
you could tell he wasn't giving it everything.
No, he wasn't, and it showed. And
it did.
showed dramatically.
It did. And that might be why WWE is putting his first match overseas. Because, I mean, let's face it, that's when they brought Hogan back for the first time.
Just to test it.
Yeah, just test it, see how it goes. Because, again, they're not going to have as many U.S. viewers. That's in the middle of the day on a Thursday, for crying out loud. It's on Halloween.
I mean, I'll watch it. I need something to do at work.
So that's my last day at work, actually, of my current job. So maybe we'll watch it together. I don't know what time I'm leaving.
I'm down.
So
I mean, chances are, whatever time we leave work, we'll watch it together.
yeah.
But.
So, it's. I actually am really curious as to what that match looks like because I think you're going to get the best of Brock Lesnar because he's going to have something to prove. And here, what I mean by that is he doesn't have anything to prove against Cain Velasquez, but he knows what Cain's bringing to the table, and Brock needs to prove.
Yeah, it's one under his eye.
So yes, but he also knows Cain's in-ring ability because he's already shown that. So I think you're going to get a much more technical Lesnar in this match than we've seen in the past several years, for the sole reason that Cain's now coming into his yard. So Lesnar's going to have something to prove to be able to say, yeah, we did it there, but I'm going to show you how it's done here. Because
Didn't you pass it right there?
let's be real, whether anybody wants to give Brock Lesnar credit for it or not, he is the only guy in the history of live entertainment, professional wrestling, or the UFC to be an NCAA national champion, undefeated NCAA national champion, an Olympian contender, which the only reason everybody knows only reason why he didn't go into the Olympics, right?
Yeah, Vince
Because
McMahon.
Vince snagged him before he could go.
Vince
So-
McMahon.
He would have been an Olympian, so he probably would have been WWE's second Olympic gold medalist.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Without a broken freaking neck.
right, without a broken freaking neck. So, but regardless, when he goes, the guy now comes to WWE, gets a WWE title, leaves WWE, goes to the UFC, gets a UFC title, comes back to WWE, gets another WWE title. So he is the only guy in the history of the business that can say he's an NCAA national champion, an Olympian, a WWE champion, and a UFC champion. There's nobody else in the history of the business that can say that. So when Cain's coming into his yard, he's going to have something to prove.
Sure.
He's going to want to say, yeah, we could go
Ronda Rousey
fight.
can, except for not the collegiate.
So, what's that?
Ronda Rousey is an Olympian.
She is.
She is. Judo.
She is.
Bronze medal winner.
Mm-hmm.
So how's everybody feeling about the Crown Jewel, Team Hogan, Team Flair thing? I don't really care about it. I mean, I got to be honest.
Yeah, I mean...
I feel like this is an opportunity for them just to throw a bunch of names on a card.
Well, and that's what it is. I mean, you got to... Maybe they requested Hogan and Flair and
They may
requested
have.
some names for this event. And let's face it, as much as this hurts me to say it, not really, nobody wants to see Hogan in the ring ever again, other than what he's doing. Nobody wants to see Flair in the ring ever again. We definitely don't want to see Flair and Hogan wrestle each other.
Oh my god.
No.
So the
That
best
is
possible
awful.
scenario is to do this team thing. And I'm okay with it. I'm all right with it for this event. I mean, I'll get into it just as much as anybody else will. It'll be all right. I'm not super excited for the entire show.
Well, but I think one thing we have to understand here in the United States is that this show is not being billed for U.S. fans.
Well, that's one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is gonna. You know what this is? it's essentially going to be a SmackDown premiere on Fox.
Yeah.
It's going to be as big as that.
It's going to be putting names on a show for guys that those fans over there haven't had a chance to see yet.
Exactly.
And I'm okay with that because as a wrestling fan, there are folks that, I mean, I got to see Hogan for the first time on WCW Thunder in the Richmond Coliseum. You got to see Hogan for the first time at WrestleMania 1.
Nope.
And so the
asshole.
So
Oh, he was kidding.
that's
Forgot your age for a second.
so that's
Hey, this table's not real sturdy. You can go through it.
so
I gotta wrestle this weekend.
it's
Hey, you know what? I'll bide my time on you till February.
it's gonna be, oh God, Smokey, you're gonna have a long night that night. I'm just telling you.
I'm gonna be laughing so hard.
Smokey's going to be the worst security blanket in the history of security blankets that night.
Yeah, when he comes falling, when he goes falling through the curtain, it comes back to me. I'm gonna know right off the hand because the only thing Smokey's gonna get out of it, he's gonna die.
He's going to die.
So, I don't. I can tell what they're trying to do with Crown Jewel. I appreciate it. I'm very grateful. I can be very grateful for the fans that are going to be over there to get a chance to see something that they wouldn't normally get to see.
I will forever, no matter how old it gets and for as long as I ever hear it, I will always pop when Hogan's music hits.
Yeah. It's kind of like me with Austin. When Austin's music hit, it's instant.
Well, I mean, I do it for all those guys, but
The Rock, same thing. Which The Rock on TV doesn't get me, but being there live when it happens, it's. I can't even believe I was getting ready to say that, but it's so fucking cheesy.
say it.
But it's electrifying.
See, that's
So,
not cheesy. I mean, this is a wrestling show.
That's true.
Cheesy is what we do.
Well, that's fair. So, other big news coming out of WWE last week: Eric Bischoff no longer with the company. It did not last long.
See, I want to know more.
Well, he's actually publicly commented on it, and one of the things he said was that his idea of what the partnership between WWE and Fox needed to look like is not what WWE and Fox thought it should look like. And so he didn't agree with it. Vince didn't agree with it, so they decided that it just wasn't going to work. And I've got a little bit more insight on that I've gained over the past 2 days. So, we've all talked about the control that Vince McMahon has over WWE's product. However, it came out yesterday from an individual who is part of WWE's creative as well as the production team that there is a show that Vince McMahon has almost no control over right now. Anybody want to take a guess as to what show that is?
NXT.
Nope.
Raw.
It is SmackDown.
I mean,
Because
shit, we had a 1-3 shot there and we blew it.
Because Fox is essentially telling WWE each week what they want.
Well, somebody else needs to grab control because...
So, well, the reason why Fox is being that way is because of the ratings drop.
Yeah.
So they're now putting pressure on WWE to basically... What Fox has basically said is you had, 3.4 million viewers, or 4.3 the first week.
It was, call it 4.
So what they're expecting, and the expectation that they have delivered to WWE's corporate office is 3.8 million at a minimum.
Look, here...
And so they basically have said, we paid you $1.6 billion, so you better find a way to make this happen.
Well, unfortunately, how you make that happen are the guys that we just talked about.
Yep, I
Brock,
agree.
Austin.
I agree.
Hogan. Taker.
So one of the things that, it's all the last bullet point on the run sheet here for WWE, but we'll go ahead and tie it in now because I think it's relevant. CNN released an article yesterday that basically buried WWE, talking about how their stock right now is 30% lower than where it was for its 52-week high, and that Fox is essentially being the bully in the room of saying, you promised us this, you delivered it week one, and you failed every week since.
Yeah, well, I mean...
I mean,
And-
what do you expect when you get the big names coming out for
Right,
one night only?
But
I get it. Fox is used to winning, and this isn't NFL football.
No.
This is not Major League Baseball. This is not the NBA. It's just not that.
UFC.
It's just not that way. I mean, I don't even think UFC is going to pull.
I don't think UFC pulls the numbers that WWE
No,
pulls.
UFC doesn't pull the numbers that they pull. But I mean, like, NFL is massive on Fox.
Yeah.
And I think they're expecting NFL numbers, and they're just not going to get NFL numbers.
No.
Wrestling fans are fickle.
Yes.
Wrestling fans are too fickle as an entire group for WWE on a Friday night to maintain 4 million.
Well, one of the things that Fox is beating them up on, based off of the script from the conference call that happened yesterday, is Fox is very dissatisfied with the fact that they've been very transparent with WWE all along that they wanted a sport-driven product, and they still feel like WWE is heavy on the promos. And so Fox is basically saying, we want less of that. They've actually started requesting NXT stars to be brought over to the SmackDown brand, but that's not going to fix their problem.
NXT stars aren't going to fix it.
No.
NXT style programming
That's what's going to
is what's going to fix it.
So there was part of that article today too, though.
What if they drop SmackDown and pick up NXT and put it on?
Well, one of the comments today from one of the Wall Street analysts was,
I still think you have the same problem.
there's a lot of uncertainty around WWE right now because they have 3 other international deals that have yet to be renewed. So their contract in India for India Television is yet to be renewed. Their contract in Australia has yet to be renewed, and their contract in Canada has yet to be renewed. And that's fears on Wall Street. However, any smart businessman in this country knows that companies don't run companies, Wall Street runs companies. So if Wall Street's losing favorability in your product, then you're going to have to do something
And they will.
to fix it. But we don't know what that is.
But see, that goes back to my earlier point. I feel like they sit on things because they know at any minute they can pull something out and be fine.
So here's the struggle, though. If you're Fox, you have to almost know that at some point over the course of the next random days, what you're going to get is that didn't come from Jesus, but what you're going to get at some point in time is a withdrawal from Vince McMahon. And I say that because, again, we all know what's happening next spring. And you don't dump $700 million of your own money in something to let somebody else run it into the ground. So one of the statements from the guys from Wall Street is that his belief is that the pressure is going to be applied for Vince McMahon to release his control of WWE Creative. Because they believe that the one show that has a better quality product is the one Vince doesn't run. So we'll see. I mean, I think some of the Wall Street analysts would probably argue the opposing view on that, which is NXT still not drawing the numbers that Raw and SmackDown are drawing. So how can you say Vince is doing a bad job when NXT can't even get over 1 million viewers, but Raw and SmackDown gain 2.3 point
They've
every
also
week?
Been around a lot longer.
Well, that and what else is on Monday nights? What other
Football.
I would say what other wrestling show?
None.
Right, none. I mean, promise you, not every Monday night football game is going to draw away.
No, and that's true.
I mean, if it's like if let's see, who could it be?
Like this past.
Let's say the Redskins and the Dolphins are playing on Monday night.
Or this past Monday night's game.
Yes.
Unless you were a Patriots fan,
Yeah.
nobody cared.
The Patriots fans didn't even care about that game. It's the freaking Jets, and Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts. So nobody cared about that game.
No, I agree.
So, I mean, I think you got to look at what they're up against. I mean, now we have NWA for an hour on Tuesdays. Friday night, there's nothing to draw away from SmackDown.
No, and I think that's why
Friday
SmackDown's still drawing more viewers than
Sure. Raw
Raw every week now, is because SmackDown, it's a Friday night. There's nothing else on.
Well, and
I'll be very curious as to what Raw's numbers look like when they're not competing with the NFL.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting to see. I don't know how much they'll change. They may not change at all, but I would still be curious to see what that looks like. So, moving on to the next and last topic for WWE, if you're a wrestling fan or a video gamer, there has been a development within the WWE since they have launched their, we know now every year around this time, what are we going to get?
New wrestling game.
A new wrestling game. So I will be the first person to tell people that I pre-ordered it. Collector's Edition has not arrived yet. It will arrive tomorrow, despite the fact that it was available in stores on Tuesday. We won't talk about the bitterness there. But I now understand why that's the case a lot more than I did before. And that was, and I didn't find this out till later today, but apparently the game's an absolute flop. Folks online are burying it to the point where if you bought it, the digital copy of it, and you downloaded it from the PlayStation Store, all you had to do was email PlayStation, and they were giving refunds back, no questions asked.
Yeah.
And they weren't even taking the digital copy of the game. So they were giving you your money back and telling you to keep the game.
Like, here, we'll just give it
That's how bad it is. Now, I can tell you that when my edition shows up, so we're going to talk about another part about this too. So did everybody hear what happened with everybody? So when you ordered the SmackDown Collector's Edition, the 20th Anniversary Edition, you were going to get a piece of canvas from one of the SmackDown rings, and then you were going to get an autograph by one of 3 WWE superstars, Hall of Famer Edge, Rey Mysterio, and I don't remember who the third one was, but it was Kurt Angle. That was the third one. So 2 Hall of Famers and Rey Mysterio.
How you forget that one?
I just did for a second. But so did everybody hear what happened with everybody who got an Edge plaque? He never signed them. So they still got their Edge plaque, but his signature wasn't on them. He was so put off by it that with the folks commenting on Twitter, he literally said that he was filming a movie right now, but as soon as he's done filming this movie, he's going to come back to the United States. He's going to open a P.O. box. He's going to communicate that out to everybody who received his plaque that wasn't signed. You can mail him the plaque. He'll sign it and send it back to you. So good on Edge to do that.
Yeah.
But shame on WWE for ever letting them leave the facility.
With no signature.
After these folks paid a higher price.
Absolutely.
For something you told them they were going to get. Which, first of all, you'd be screwed if they ever challenged you on it because it's false advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd lose that battle all day legally.
Yeah.
2, what does it say about the quality of the product that you produced? Now, I read an article today, and the title of the article, which intrigued me... Yeah.
Right.
The title of the article that intrigued me was it said, here's why 2K20 sucks. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, let me see what this is about. So I read it.
If you go on YouTube, you can find every single game ever made.
Somebody makes a video why
Sure.
it sucks.
Sure.
Or how to play it.
However...
Or something.
With 2K20, and I'm reserving my judgment until I get my copy so that I can actually play it and see.
I played my copy. The game is fine. It's just broken. Once they fix that, it'll be okay.
Okay. So there's Nico's take on it. It's going to be interesting. I know it still has a lot of glitches, but unless people forgot, there have been glitches in every WWE video game for the past several years.
If you haven't noticed, there's glitches in every game. That's why they have updates for every game.
I got a question. Did anybody play the original Grand Theft Auto 5 edition? How many glitches did that have when it first came out?
It was bad.
It took like 3 different patches for them to release for you to download for you to be able to fix it. So
and that's been out for how long now?
Yeah, I mean years. And so you're going to continue to find that. I mean, I have the whole them not sending autographs of Edge. I mean, that's just a whole different problem.
What? Yeah,
that's a whole different problem.
Poor customer service when you really get down to it. That's not a glitch. That's not an error.
No, because somebody knew as you're putting those in the box.
Hey, this isn't signed.
Hey, this isn't signed.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Like, oh shit, this doesn't have a signature on it.
Right.
What about? Oh, that one doesn't. Well,
hey, they all belong to the same guy. What a problem.
Right.
So, anyways, I'm going to reserve my judgment until I get to play my copy of it. It will be here tomorrow.
But you don't get the Edge one.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually kind of hoping for Kurt Angle. I don't really have an interest for the Rey Mysterio one. I don't know why. I've just never been a huge Rey Mysterio fan.
Hope for the Edge one. How cool would it be
to be able to send it to him and
have him send it back? So it actually has a better twist to it if you get the Edge one.
Yeah, at least then I know it's not pre-printed.
Yeah,
Right.
It's something he signed.
Right, exactly.
And send it right back.
And send it back.
How many is he going to have to sign?
I mean, right. Well, there's a limited edition of each. So they say they only sold so many copies of the SmackDown 20th anniversary edition.
They also said they were going to be signed by Edge.
That's very true. So, we'll see what that looks like long term, but I'll reserve my judgment. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. Our co-host, who's not here tonight, A-Man, actually got hers today. So
She got Rey Mysterio.
She did get Rey Mysterio. So we'll see what that looks like. But I've seen some of the videos. The graphics are not what they used to be, but
They changed the company though.
they did, and that's what the article that I read today. That's basically what this all pointed to was. Ukes backed out of their agreement with 2K Sports, which caused WWE to have to find a new digital programmer, so they went with a digital programmer that they had worked with before, but they had not worked with that digital programmer since the release of SmackDown Here Comes the Pain.
And they used the same graphics.
I will correct that. The stills look bad, but if you actually play the game, it looks just like last year's game.
Okay, well then, so that's not so bad. But it's just going to be interesting. Like I said, I'm reserving my judgment until I can play it myself.
That's fair.
But, folks online are burying this game.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you guys know I'm not a big gamer, but...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's buggy. I was doing fine for a little while, but after about 2 hours, one of my players, her hair is no longer attached to her scalp.
Oh.
I was like, I'll wait for them to fix this.
I saw one where somebody had was messing around with Becky Lynch and put one of the Bludgeon Brothers masks on her, and it was sitting on top of her head instead of on her face.
Awesome.
It was like half of her mouth was missing. And
There was another one of a video of somebody doing a schoolboy, and the one wrestler is rolled up, assuming the position, like he's waiting for the other guy, and then the other one's just spinning in circles around the ring, like all the way around him. Not touching him, just in circles around him. And it doesn't stop. It goes on that way for like 5.5 minutes before the match time runs out. So, the question there is just for you, Smokey, and that would be...
Can I ask it?
Yeah, go ahead.
The question for you is that if you lose on this game by hip toss, is that considered a glitch, or or do you just suck at the game?
I guess I would just suck.
That would have been the second time that Smokey's lost to a hip toss. Mind you, he lost that first one in a a last man standing Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
He lost to a hip toss.
So you can thank my beautiful wife for that question. Say hi.
Thanks, Sarah.
So let's close up the WWE conversation, though. Let's move on to AEW. Dynamite this week, which we've already talked about. I feel like we've covered that one. Kenny Omega, how about the news from Kenny Omega this week coming in and actually won the AAA world title?
From Ray Phoenix.
So it's now become very apparent that AEW is going to be partnering with both AAA, which they announced today.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually going to spin the AAA storyline into their storylines and non-existent storylines in AEW. And then they're also going to allow their talent to go compete on Impact Wrestling.
So here's something interesting, kind of that will feed right into this. I also saw today that Tessa Blanchard is done with Impact.
Yes. So does she go to AEW?
That's where that is.
And still be able to perform?
Well, she's still doing stuff at WoW also.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, she's still doing stuff at WoW.
We know that Scarlett Bordeaux got picked up. Everybody knows who Scarlett Bordeaux got picked up by, right?
Wait, who? I'm just kidding.
She got picked up by WWE.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure we'll see her on NXT at some point in time in the near future.
Yeah. A lot of interesting moves going on, especially right here surrounding AEW.
Yeah, I still think it's a very exciting time to be part of the wrestling community.
Absolutely. I mean, not just here, not just AEW, not just WWE, but anywhere.
Yeah. So I put this next topic in here. You guys know how I've always felt about this guy. CM Punk opens up on a potential return. He actually talked this week specifically about a potential return to AEW or to WWE as well as a debut for AEW. And he said that he's at a point in time in his life and career where if the presentation is made correctly through the right channels and it's made appropriately and the money is right, then he would consider it. He said that AEW did not approach him correctly for their offer, and he said that was the reason why he turned them down. It had nothing to do with the money. It had to do with the fact that he said they didn't do it the right way.
Yeah.
So I think that...
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
You too. Who needs him more? Don't bank it on who wants him more.
Right now?
AEW, WWE, or WWE who needs him. Absolutely,
WWE
I
needs
agree.
him more.
I think
CM Punk returning would be the pivotal moment for WWE right now to turn.
As soon as anytime they're in Chicago, who do you hear them?
Well, yeah, I mean,
even when they're not in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean,
which I think the fans do that now just to be
piss Vince off.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it's about.
Or Triple H. But anyway, that right there, Fox, if you're listening, that's what turned SmackDown around.
So interesting note on that. After he made his statement of it would take a big bag,
a big bag is what he said.
A big bag, quote, I quote, big bag to get him back in the ring. Or Fox sent him a letter saying that they were no longer interested in having him on the FS1 program. So the moment he made that statement, Fox said, "Yeah, thanks, no thanks."
But I mean, again, he's at a point in his career he doesn't need either or.
Correct.
He's fine.
So getting the money.
No, he's good.
Now here's the question, and I'm going to kind of tie up a few things for you here, and I just want you guys' feedback. Okay.
One word, or can we actually?
No, you can elaborate. So Fox has now withdrawn their interest for him hosting the FS1 spot for Fox. He has now openly admitted that he would be interested in a return. Triple H has now said that the company is willing to forgive all previous incidents and draw a clean slate with him. Pro Wrestling Tees was notified that they're no longer allowed to sell
everything got pulled
CM
down.
Punk merchandise.
Yeah.
It's all been pulled down.
That was about a week ago.
Week and a half ago almost.
Yeah.
That only tells me one thing.
So
something's happening.
There's something going on behind the scenes here. I don't know what it is, but something is going on behind the scenes. He has never, and even this week he said that he's always been open to a return. Well, Phil Brooks, if you're listening to this, I have no problem telling you that I can go back and find several interviews where you said absolutely in no way were you ever going back to professional wrestling. On multiple occasions, he said that.
I agree. Yeah, he did.
So for you to turn around now and say that you've always been open to a return, well, that's just, it's a flat-out lie.
Well, maybe it's not a hard... Maybe he was just playing hard to get.
It's still not what you've communicated before, so why would I have any reason to believe what you're telling me now versus what you've told me before?
You know what this sounds like right now, Smokey? You know what it sounds like, right?
Hater.
Nope. There's a bet. There's a wager. There's a wager floating around. And believe it or not, I swear to you, I'm not making this up. I had someone at my job ask me about this bet the other day. Yep. They were like, so what is this bet that you and Tommy T have going? I swear that really happened within the last couple days. I said, it's not really a bet that I'm going to lose. I said, because I promise you CM Punk's coming back long before that hack Sami Zayn wears any sort of title.
I don't know, because guess where Sammy's headed? Sammy's going back to the yellow and black.
Well, there's a long line there.
There might be, but the bet was, does he get a championship?
No.
He won't.
No.
You see how quick he was to say that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Because, what championship is he going to win and ahead of who? Now on NXT. NXT's not the same now.
I agree.
As it was when Sammy was there.
Although I could say that
He
he'd
didn't hold the NXT title.
Dude, look,
be an easy fit for the
Right.
North American Championship almost instantly.
but ahead of.
Well, I mean, let's face it, Matt Riddle's probably going to get it. And then if you bring Sammy back, he's not going to come back from the main roster to go be an ordinary guy. He's going to get the same treatment Ben
He's
Balor
an
gets.
afterthought at best.
To you, he's an afterthought.
But who do you put him ahead of on that roster?
I mean, you could. I'm not saying you put him ahead of anybody.
Right,
but
there you go.
Bringing Sami Zayn down and saying, because that's. I mean, let's be real. That's what it.
You know what? Let me
It's not
stop
down,
your statement
it's
there. I
over.
like bring Sammy down. I'm good there. We could stop the statement right now.
So I forgave my CM Punk approach. Mm-hmm. Are you going to forgive your Sami Zayn approach?
No, because
Let's not.
Absolutely not.
at least CM Punk is good in the ring and on the mic. Sammy sucks in both.
Do you want highlights of El Generico?
No,
Of El Generico.
you just shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Sami Zayn is actually a remarkably talented individual.
I'll give you this: he is talented in the ring,
in his,
but he is like I don't know where you put him ahead of somebody else in line.
I'm not
for any title.
I'm not saying you put him ahead of anybody else, but quite frankly,
I wouldn't let him pin R-Truth for the 24/7 7-Eleven TV Championship European title.
El Generico.
Before they killed the gimmick in NXT.
At least he's not wearing that stupid ass hat.
He's wearing a mask.
That's fine.
But now those two guys had wars in NXT.
You know, and to me, it's not his in-ring stuff. It's his mouth and just him in general.
See, so
But you were saying
this
him-
character works.
No. It's not what
He's
I
a
said.
heel. He's a heel. That's what you're supposed to hate.
I didn't like him when he wasn't a heel.
Well, you haven't liked him since he showed up.
Right, thank you.
No, he hasn't liked him since he threw a water bottle.
His absolute
He got
best,
hit with a water bottle.
his
by
best
AJ
match in
Styles.
WWE is when he got hurt wrestling John Cena when he came up from NXT.
That was there at his entrance.
I know, right? What's that tell you?
All right, so we're going to move on to Jake Hager. He came out and he talked very candidly this past week about his exit from WWE and how he felt like he got lost
Hold on, I
in
have
the
a
mix. He felt like he got lost in the mix at WWE, and that was one of the reasons why he chose to leave. We actually got the ability to see him a couple months back.
We actually got
and-
to do the We the People with him.
We did with him and Zeb Coulter.
I'm pretty sure I had like one of my like
You had a what?
pictures pop up on Facebook of that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So the quote was, when I look now at guys like Cesaro, guys like Bobby Lashley, they're just lost. When I look at them, that whole cloud of doom comes right back over me. WWE knows exactly what they're doing, and I hate to say it, but it's on purpose. They want you lost in there so they can control you. End quote.
I don't think that's untrue. I mean, so, we've talked a lot about WWE's power and their ability, but again, I would venture to say that WWE knows what they're doing for a reason.
Sure. And I think we've said it several times. They're just trying to largely, by and large, hold talent hostage so they don't go to AEW.
Now,
So they don't go to New
Yeah.
Japan. So they don't go to NWA. So they don't go to UEW. Sorry, just had to throw it in there.
Wait, we got that money?
so, we're going to get a lot of renegotiations right now. Thanks to
Well,
that.
I mean, we're already paying one tag team apparently $1 billion.
So that's true. That's true.
My hot dog ready to go home.
Hot dog, we're just giving you the bun and sending you packing.
That's
Why is it the most innocent statements? Come on.
the way you said it. We're just going to give you the bun and send you packing.
Would you rather me look at him and say,
No, don't. Just stop. Just stop.
There's a joke in there somewhere.
it
So,
was on the way?
the last thing that I wanted to talk about for tonight on AEW is Jim Ross's recent comments. And, this is now, I'm going to say, the fourth time that this show has predicted something to happen.
So we're like the Simpsons of wrestling reporting.
We talked about how Jim
We're
Ross...
not time travelers.
Yes. how JR sounded just uninterested,
Disinterested
and,
completely.
and just disenfranchised by the product.
He didn't want to be there.
Now he has come out and openly said it's not the product he thought he was going to be supporting.
That's right.
Said they're just too flippy floppy.
Yeah, too many flips and flops.
Flips and
Quote
flops.
unquote. Too many flips and flops. Nico.
I got a question. Did he look at the roster when he signed up? Did he not?
I guess not.
Well, quite frankly, if I'm honest, Jim Ross was brought on board before most of the roster was signed.
This is true. They did have JR real early.
So,
And let's be honest. He didn't have a whole lot of other announcing opportunities
no.
going right now.
No.
He had barbecue sauce.
Well, he was doing New Japan, but it ain't picked up AEW.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, it's... Sorry, I got distracted for a moment. When you look at what JR said, I'm actually going to applaud AEW here, and here's why. If JR was a WWE employee and said what he said about WWE, guess what JR wouldn't have right now?
A job.
A job.
No, right, yeah.
So Tony Khan's response to JR's statements was he's asked for a one-on-one meeting with JR to discuss what they can do to bring more viewers in line with his perspective.
There you go.
That is not a question that Vince McMahon would have ever asked.
No. No, that's...
That he
that's
would have
honestly
ever
true.
asked of JR. So that's a question from Tony Khan.
Mm-hmm.
And I applaud Tony Khan and AEW for taking that approach.
Well, sure. I mean, that's taking ownership, and that's being self-aware and able
Yep.
to take a step back and look and say, you know what? Maybe he's right. Maybe we do need to change something.
Well,
but
I think his first concern is, okay, well, if Jim feels this way, clearly other people feel this way.
100%.
So what can we do to fix that part of the business?
Right.
And that's just being a good businessman.
I think if
25 years ago, Vince might have asked that question
No,
when he was
no.
trying to. Probably not. But
That's
when
what I've been like. I don't care.
the last time Vince probably asked that question was honestly at WrestleMania 1 or 2.
probably
Like, what can we do here, fellas, to make this thing great?
Nico.
Interesting things, but I don't really know because my coworker doesn't really watch wrestling, but he did happen to watch AEW
Okay.
on Wednesday.
Really?
It was a good match. Technically, it's not
Which good match?
the Private Party Lucha Bros.
Yeah,
Technically,
it
it
was-
was not a good match
it was not
storytelling wise
at all.
But to the
It didn't make
casual
sense
fan-
storytelling.
No, but to a casual fan, they just see a spectacle, which attracts them and they actually watch the show after that.
So, I mean, there's another point there. It's AEW is trying to be something that nobody else is.
Yeah.
And it's working.
It's getting there.
I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to survive off of that, but it's working. So, Nico, how many...
Real quick, sorry.
Nope, you're fine.
What is an actual, other than the tag team tournament and Cody Jericho, okay? Name another storyline.
Pat Moxley.
Yeah.
Is it Pac and Moxley? Is it going to be Kenny Omega Moxley?
Well, it's kind of like a...
What's it going to be?
I think
It's muddy water right now.
it is, but I think they realized what they were spoiling with the Moxley Omega storyline.
So I think they're gonna.
So I think they're holding that back now, and they're going to save that, which they should.
I do agree.
They should. Pac Moxley is. I mean, well, one, it's you're putting a WWE match on AEW television, but
Yep.
because it's
It
Neville,
does seem to be a lot of WWE guys popping up.
It's Neville
That was
versus.
the Dragon Gate guy originally.
So, but you look at all of that, and I could go through the list and name the folks. So,
I'm just going to awkwardly stare at Nico for a second.
quite frankly, your current AEW champion, former WWE star,
Until that.
one of your executives, former WWE star. I mean, Cody Rhodes, former WWE star. Jake Hager, former WWE star. Jim Ross, former WWE voice. John Moxley, former WWE star
And champion.
and champion.
February.
Pac, former WWE star.
It's a whole lot of WWE in there.
Cruiserweight champion.
That he's still a star.
A former WWE champion.
Former
though.
NXT champion
Well, not
as
DW.
well.
Right. You get what I'm saying.
So,
Title holder.
Jake Hager, former world heavyweight champion in WWE.
Jericho.
Same thing.
Held every title.
Yep. In the wrestling business.
Greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Yep. So,
Digging a hole.
that's what it sounds like. So, anyways, how many folks we got? Well, I'm not going to ask that question. But for those of us that are watching on Facebook Live, we did not do a Poke the Bear segment this week because we don't have a man. So we're actually asking for open questions.
Uh-oh.
I got a quick question for you guys.
Okay, Nico, what you got?
Jim Ross made more comments in regards to Seth Rollins and him saying
He did.
was in the minor leagues, and he said, and I quote, well, he was referring to the fact that Kenny make a minor league thing, and he said, well, maybe one day Seth Rollins will be as over as his girlfriend.
He did say that.
He did.
I thought you said an open question.
I
You
didn't
just
hear-
told us
I didn't hear a
something.
question in that.
I
No.
ain't good about that.
I mean, I agree with it. Seth Rollins is definitely not as over as Becky Lynch.
I don't think he's going to be.
I think Hell in a Cell did more to... it didn't damage the Fiend necessarily.
No, it did more to hurt
it
Seth
killed
than
Seth
it-
Rollins,
yeah.
though. Because, I mean, you think about now how many times when
So-
Seth comes out, he gets booed.
Here's what happened. For me, what they did with Seth and The Fiend at Hell in a Cell is exactly, but not to the same level, that they did to Roman when he beat Taker at WrestleMania. So everybody remembers the only time that a professional wrestler has opened Monday Night Raw and gotten a very specific chant that I've only heard one time. One time in the history that I've watched wrestling. You guys know what that chant was. We can't repeat it here. So
Spell it.
it was F.U. Roman. Very loud and clear on Monday Night Raw following WrestleMania. To me, what they, again, not at the same level, so scale it. But
You're welcome for that.
what they did to Seth and The Fiend is the exact same thing. You put him in a situation that does him no good.
Yeah, no.
So everybody was like, oh, well, Roman was the second guy to defeat Taker, but it didn't do anything for his career.
Nope.
Nothing. Fans hated him for it. So now fans are disappointed that Seth didn't lose the title to The Fiend.
I don't think he needed to lose the title. We've talked about it
No, but
1,005
they could've
times
found
at
a
this
different
point.
way
Yes. So, however, I'm still going to say that my earlier prediction is still on track to become true.
Which one?
Lesnar's the WWE champion. He holds it till WrestleMania. The Fiend challenges Lesnar at WrestleMania to take the belt off of Brock.
I'm down for that.
So, because I think that's a match, one that we haven't seen
Do
before.
you think Brock gets the fear in his eyes like he did the first time Cain Velasquez came out?
I think Brock gets whatever Brock wants. So if Brock wants to sell something, which we already know, just talk to Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins and Roman, they'll all tell you. If he likes you, he'll make it look good.
I don't see where he wouldn't like the Fiend, or where I feel like if it's Lesnar Fiend, I feel like we get one of the best Brock Lesnar performances.
So, and you can tell now that he's enjoying what he's doing
Right,
more
and that's
than
part
he
of
has.
what's feeding my response right
Yeah.
there.
So-
Is he just looks like he's having fun wrestling again?
So, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's cool to see.
Yeah,
And that started with the Brock party, which I still thought was
that was
funny as
hilarious.
hell.
When he put the boombox up,
Yeah.
and I thought, "What's going on right
You
now?"
could tell he was having fun again.
I think he surprised himself the first time he did it.
Probably.
Because his face turned super red, and he just started laughing.
Yep. So, Nico, we don't have the screen in front of us. Do we have any questions coming in from the folks that are watching?
Sorry, man.
Why don't we get a computer anymore?
It's definitely basketball season.
Ah. Okay.
That's why we don't get the computer.
What?
Usually when there's a sporting event going on in conjunction with this show.
Yeah, we don't get as many viewers, is what he's saying. Why?
Oh.
Because what are we competing against right now?
What is tonight? Thursday?
It's Thursday,
NBA season opener.
as well as the NFL.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, every Thursday night.
Well, then next Wednesday's going to probably suck.
Probably.
We should move the show to Tuesdays.
Oh, that might be a thought.
We should move the show to Tuesdays.
That might be a thought.
Why don't we do a listener viewer poll
Would be about.
I'm good with that. We can do a poll on the Facebook page that says, what night would you prefer Wrestle Rewind to take place on?
Either
The only thing on Tuesdays really is
NWA.
NWA Power.
And that's only an hour.
It's only an hour.
So that's off before we even go on the air.
Yeah.
So
Tuesdays
we'll
make
do
sense.
that. We'll launch a poll and see what they say.
Let's do it.
I'm good with it. My new work schedule is far more flexible than my current one.
Well, and fall baseball's over, so Tuesdays are still good. Are good. I don't have anything really.
So, with no other comments on tonight's show, what we're going to move is we'll close our show out as we always do. Back to the original two with another episode of Wrestle Rewind Trivia.
I don't have the belt.
Double K did not bring the belt, so I
was busy this evening.
We were both busy.
We were at a birthday dinner for my 5-year-old son Miles.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Miles! Don't ever do that.
Don't. So we're synchronized. That's never a good thing when you and I are synchronized.
But it happens more than it should.
Periods are sync up.
That's.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Can you make sure when we're done with this show?
No, I'm holding it till February. Hey, because
It's gonna be like, screw if
you know how Seth Rollins burns it down?
Yeah.
I'm going to push it in.
Wait a minute, not that kind of party.
Hey, that's our company, so it can be whatever kind of party we want it to be.
That's true.
I'm tired of wrestling now.
So
Don't be scared.
we're going to go ahead and do our Wrestle Rewind trivia tonight. Smokey Z Double K are our two competitors. I have no problem announcing that next week, when we do our special Halloween episode, we're going to bring back the Friday Night Finishers theme. And we're going to do that for our Halloween episode.
Are you buying us drinks first?
So,
What is happening?
so we will look forward to that next week. All right, you guys know the rules. 15 questions.
In honor of a man. Not going to use that yellow buzzer. I'm going to keep score for her.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. Somebody's got to do it.
That's fair.
Somebody's got to keep the DJ's score.
That
Can we just talk about last week's dominating performance really quick? I remembered it when I saw her scoreboard.
the Double K took it last week.
Nope. Nope. Folks, Double K did not take it last week. Last week, Double K issued it. But there was no taking. Hold on. We're going to go here. That was all you, buddy. All right. Let's do it.
All right, you guys know the rules. 15 questions. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. I will let you know if it's multiple choice prior to answering the question. It looks like the first two questions are going to be multiple choice. The questions 3, 4, and 5 are not. Question number 1, what weapon did Brutus Beefcake use to defeat Kurt Hennig at WrestleMania?
Hedge trimmers.
That is incorrect. Smokey Z.
You said this one's multiple choice, right?
Yes.
I thought I knew, so I just jumped the gun.
What weapon did Brutus Beefcake use to defeat Kurt Hennig at WrestleMania 6? Was it a loaded glove, a clipboard, or a ring bell? You've got a 33% chance.
Where's Norman at?
I'll wait for my hint.
Oh, he is going to wait. Well, we're already less
Already
than
there.
more than... this item can also be found in an office.
What were the
A loaded glove, a ring bell, or a clipboard.
a clipboard?
That is correct.
Then why didn't you just say, it's clipboard? What office are you going to find a loaded glove?
Oh, I had something to say right there.
I
But,
set you up for that.
and I had to hold it, too. I'll tell you after the show goes off the air.
Fair.
Question number 2. Who KO'd Kurt Hennig at WrestleMania 6? Was it Randy Savage, Ted DiBiase,
Who?
or Brutus Beefcake?
Brutus Beefcake.
It was Brutus Beefcake.
Ted DiBiase.
That's why I was like, who?
What is it? Razor Romaine?
Rosa Romaine.
Razor Romaine.
Every time I go through the salad section in Kroger now, I start laughing. And people are like, what the hell is he laughing at?
Question number 3 is not multiple choice. What rank did Shawn Michaels' father retire from the Air Force as?
Can I get like a Call of Duty hand?
Was he an optometrist?
No.
How is this not multiple choice?
I know, right?
I can't. I don't make these questions. I don't. I'll go ahead and give you a hint.
Yeah, thank you.
The spokesperson for KFC. You didn't let me finish the hint.
Colonel.
That is incorrect. To finish the hint, the spokesperson of KFC shares the second part of this individual's name. The first part is a measurement. I just started laughing.
I'm so confused. I'm more confused on the hint than I am the damn question.
You get 2 points, you get this right. Jesus. It's not a rank.
It's supposed to be a flipping hint, not a riddle. I think you should give me optometrist.
No.
Give me another hint.
I can't. I don't have one.
Hell, you didn't have one to begin with.
Time is up. The the name is Full Colonel.
What?
That is the actual name, Full Colonel.
I didn't know that was a rank.
Nobody knew that was a rank unless you have had that rank or were in the military somewhere.
Question number 4: what sport did Shawn Michaels become the captain of in high school?
Oh, I feel like I knew this. God dang it.
Smokey Z.
Was it football?
It was football. That is correct.
I was my guess.
Damn,
Damn, football
Smoke.
or baseball.
That's a fair guess for Andy.
Question number
Yeah.
5: besides football and baseball, what other sport did Shawn Michaels excel at in high school? Okay.
Basketball.
That's incorrect. He couldn't see the rim. Smokey Z.
Could he not see the rim or not be able to hit the one in the middle?
I can see the sidelines, coach.
Hey, you know what, though? That's sneaky communication because the coach could be putting out signs over here and some could focus on the foul line and still see what's going on. And all he does is this, let the coach know he's got it. Got you, coach.
Give me a hint.
And it
Your
involves a
hint,
round ball.
this specific genre of sports also includes the shot put.
Track and field.
Why'd you
Track
hit
and
the
field is
button?
correct.
I don't know if it's a habit.
I think this is hands down the worst questions overall we've had.
Again, folks, I don't make these questions. I'm just reading them.
Hey, I'm winning.
You are winning. I'm getting my teeth kicked in right now.
Question number 6. This is multiple choice. Who defeated The Undertaker at the Royal Rumble of 1997? Was it Bret Hart, Vader, or Mankind?
Mankind.
That is incorrect.
It's got a 50-50
I wouldn't even
shot.
won yet.
I'm just going to wait for a hint just to sure this thing up. It'll be the worst hint ever because there's only 2.
It's one of these two wrestlers.
They wrestled. These 2 guys wrestled in a ring.
Nobody gives me these hints, so I'm relying on my own knowledge. Here's your hint. This individual used to wear a hooded mask to the ring that had red eyes and smoked.
Vader.
That's Vader. That is correct.
First time I ever saw him, I was in Roanoke Coliseum, and he came out and was still wearing that, and got in my face with that thing on. I was like 10. I was scared to death.
I probably won't know the answer. I don't know the answer to this one, so you guys probably won't.
Skip it.
Question number 7.
He's going to ask it anyway. Here we go.
Which luchador did not compete at the Royal Rumble in 1997? Is it Perro Aguayo, Connect, or Discovery?
The first one.
A. So what you said?
He said A. Is he right?
He is incorrect. You now have a 50-50 shot.
Norman!
Double K.
C.
It was Discovery.
I was thinking that anyway because I've never heard of a luchador named. I just don't know.
Question number 8. Who was the Federation's second light heavyweight title holder? It is not multiple choice.
No. Start my time.
I already know my hint for this one. So
I've got a couple people that I'm thinking, and I don't think either are right.
Well, that's
Well, I mean, that's why I'm not answering. Until I get a hint.
Probably wouldn't help with the hint anyway.
Oh, this one will.
hence the answer.
This individual was part of a tag team who also left the WWE. This individual, not both members of the tag team, went on to Impact Wrestling to become the world champion.
John Morrison.
That is incorrect.
What?
Went on to Impact Wrestling to become the world champion. Made his fame there before returning to the WWE.
I feel like I've shot myself in the foot several times this evening.
Been rather premature.
I get excited sometimes, man. Hand starts twitching and shaking. Just got
Is
to
it
put.
Jeff?
That is also incorrect. The correct answer is Christian.
Oh,
That's how Dane was born.
What?
Question number 9.
question number 9.
Edge and Christian and Gangrel comprise what group?
Oh.
Double K.
Oh, the Brood.
The Brood is correct. I don't even need to look at the answer for that one.
No, because remember earlier, Smokey Z said he'd take it in the face.
He did.
I did.
I can't say anything.
Well, you said enough when you said that.
Question number 10. What color was Taka Michinoku's light heavyweight belt?
Like the strap?
Valid question.
It is a valid question.
Yes,
It is.
strap. What color was the strap?
God,
It's an awful group to ask.
we're
this
so
question to.
immature right now.
Strap, you say? I just chimed in. Ashley's not here, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
No, good that we didn't ask it then.
Corey, here's your hint.
It's a color.
That belt shared a color with the backside of the World Heavyweight Championship. Smokey
Red.
Z. Red is correct.
I was thinking wrong title. Never mind. I was like, what?
Question number 11. Who was Randy Savage's opponent at SummerSlam 1990? This is multiple choice.
Oh.
Is it Dusty Rhodes, Bret Hart, or Ravishing Rick Rude?
Was it Rick Rude?
That is incorrect.
I'm using my strategery again.
I'm glad you clarified that, because the first 2 times you tried, it was not correct. Strategic.
What are you talking about?
Oh, I can pick with you because I do it all the time.
You hadn't really done it tonight.
No, I'm not as tired as I normally
Can I
am.
get a hint?
Yeah, you can have your first hint. It's one of the last 2 remaining answers.
Stop the clock. Stop the clock. Stop the clock.
You always give me crap for my answer. My hints being bad.
We're about to have our first physical altercation on this show. Look, your undershirt is sticking out from underneath the gray shirt. I will pull it.
I can't. I'm
All right, real hint.
All right.
Oh, real hint.
This individual has a son who is still an active in-ring performer.
I don't know why I'm laughing, Dusty Rhodes.
That is correct.
I don't know why I started laughing right there. I was thinking about that shirt.
Question number 12. Which superstar won the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam 1990? Was it Rick Rude, Kerry Von Erich, or Sid Vicious?
Rick Rude.
That is incorrect.
I'm running out of time and questions.
What were the other two? Sid Vicious and who?
Sid Vicious and Kerry Von Erich. Did you say Kurt Henry? That's why.
That's Mark Henry's light-skinned son.
Oh, God.
Smokey Z.
This is Von Erich.
It was Von Erich.
God, I think I've just about lost. Smokey's taking
One more point. Smokey, if you get the next question correct,
I'll win for the first time.
it will eliminate Double Cave's ability.
Cave?
I said K's. Nope. I said K's.
No,
I did not.
definitely said it like you said.
I did not.
There
I
was a
said
VE
K's.
at the end of that.
This is not multiple choice. What World Wrestling Federation personality once managed Stone Cold Steve Austin when his career began in Texas?
Oh, wow. That's a good question.
And I did not know this answer.
That's weird, wild stuff.
I probably would not know.
You were still swimming.
Your dad was only on the second one.
Oops.
Got himself a BF.
Nope.
What?
No.
Hint.
No. All right, so here's your hint.
I don't want an elaboration.
This former WWE manager is now deceased. However, he went on to manage several WWE World Champions under the persona in which he retired.
Jesus. Pause the time. Jeez. Okay.
That's it. The persona which he retired when he died.
Hell, I don't. Bobby Heenan.
That's incorrect. Smokey, I'm going to give you another hint in 5 seconds.
And it's going to take the remaining time to give you the hint.
Paul Bearer.
That is correct. It was Paul.
Wow. That,
Smokey
you know what? You
D.
deserve to win for answering that one.
Smokey, because he got the hint.
Because I was thinking, I was like, the only person that I know of would be Paul Bearer.
So,
Bobby, I mean, the brain was still
Yeah.
the brain.
Right.
yeah, but the brain was always the brain. Paul Bearer evolved over time.
True.
So,
Win!
for the, and you don't even have the belt. So, folks, this is a historic episode of Wrestle Rewind. Here tonight, October 24th, 2019, Smokey Z on episode 26. 26 times we've done this. And he has never won. This is the first time for Smokey Z to win Wrestle Rewind Trivia Champion. And that now makes Smokey Z the new Wrestle Rewind Trivia
If you were
Champion.
Booker T, you could say, one time! One time!
So he is no longer winless in his efforts to win that
Slam
victory.
champion.
And he now is the second Grand Slam champion for our No Holds Barred group. So that's
What?
that's
Man, that's crazy.
yeah, he did. You keep on. He's gonna kiss your belly button from the inside.
Whoa!
So folks, that wraps up.
Does that mean he's going to show...
What?
No! No!
I didn't say what you were gonna kiss it with. I didn't say that.
It's not getting any better right now.
I mean, your foot can
Well,
go.
and it may not happen as long as he doesn't screw up.
Well, that's true. That's
So
true.
it's kind of all on him.
It's on you.
I'll bring my gun.
So, folks, that's going to wrap up this week's episode of Wrestle Rewind. As always, thank you for taking the time to join us. We appreciate it. We will launch a poll to determine whether or not we move the day that the show is on. I think it's a great idea for us to take a look and see what happens with that.
And
Other than that,
real quick, I'm pretty sure on Steve Austin's one of his documentary movies, he says that his manager was Paul Bearer.
He probably does.
he probably does.
That's probably where I remembered that from.
So this is going to take us into next week's episode, which will be is going to be Wednesday night next week. It's going to be Wednesday night next week.
This is what happens when all the boys are just left alone.
Right, we're not supervised.
It's 1827 again,
So-
guys. Let's bring it back. Yeah, I went there. Go ahead and close the show.
Yeah, close show.
We need to now.
Tommy T.
So, next week's episode is going to be Wednesday night at 8:30. We'll bring back the Friday Night Finishers theme. Hopefully, A-Man will be back with us next week when she's done
Getting choke slammed straight to hell.
choke slam straight to hell. What? Who brought him?
Just keep going.
All right, folks, that's going to wrap up this week's episode. As always, I'm Tommy T,
Double K.
Smokey Z.
and we'll see you next week live for Wrestle Rewind on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m.